the associate editor at The Australian, Graham Lloyd. Graham, the debate around The Voice, it entered a new phase over this past week, didn't it?
Yes, good morning, Karen. Well, we certainly are at an interesting point in the Voice debate. Indigenous leaders returned to Central Australia this week to reconfirm their commitment to the statement from the heart, and the issues being debated in Parliament. And it's obvious that the Prime Minister and the opposition leader are on completely different pages here. This is causing a good deal of frustration for those who have been arguing for a voice. At the end of the day, the sporting clubs have come out. They've declared their commitment. Going forward, a lot will depend on how engaged voters become in these arguments about the potential for overreach in the way it's been structured and the perils of an advocate judiciary. So there's a lot of uncertainty at this point in time, and there's little evidence really that things can be smoothed out in the next couple of weeks.
And while that is going to dominate over weeks and months, in fact, the underlying potent issue, both economic and political, remains cost of living, energy bills, rate rises.
That's right. There's no doubt that the issue concentrating people's minds is what's going to happen to the mortgage and why does the electricity bill keep going up. It was confirmed this week that electricity prices will rise considerably. There's a bit of a fake argument going on about whether, what would have happened had other measures not been taken in the past. I think the real concern is what happens going forward, and the debate over the taxation regime on gas producers is central to that, because that will determine what happens to the availability of supplies into the future, and that will determine prices.
And Graham, to the United States, the debt ceiling deadline looms.
It does, and there's a sort of ritualistic feel to this whole process. The government in the US regularly has to go back and negotiate a lifting of the debt ceiling so they can continue to run the government and spend money. We're at the end stages of that now in Washington. The vibe is that, look, a deal is within reach, but it's very high risk operation. It needs to be landed in the next few days, or it will produce extreme volatility on financial markets, and the consequences will be felt everywhere, including Australia.
Graham, appreciate it. We'll see you next week. And as Graham said there, the debt ceiling negotiations are going down to the wire in the US. Congress has less than 9 days left to strike that deal and avoid an economic catastrophe.